So as you can tell by the title of this video, it's not a nice video, and it's definitely not one that I thought that I would ever make. And I was really contemplating not talking about this. Like, I've spoken about it obviously to friends and family, but you know, so there's so many other videos like this, but to me it just feels a little bit insensitive to our child, you know, to splash all the information over, I don't know, like over a video. But we did announce the pregnancy and I was doing updates, so I've put myself in this situation. And I spoke with Heath and he thinks it's fine. I just, I don't want to be insensitive. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. It's weird emotions, I think, at the moment. But we did lose our baby, unfortunately. I think the last update, we went for our 12, well, I went because Heath was home with the kids, went for the 12-week scan. Bubs had a heartbeat of 174, 175, and I had to go back for another scan the following week because the baby was lying on its face, on its tummy, and we could just see its spine. And when I went back on Monday, there was just no heartbeat. They didn't say it straight away. He sort of proceeded with the ultrasound. He was sort of explaining everything. He was really nice and really compassionate. He was sort of, you know, baby isn't in a good position, and like the ultrasound to me looked really murky. Like, I mean, even after 4 kids, I'm not really sure what I'm looking at on ultrasounds, but it wasn't a clear picture. It was like murky water or something. So he said, you know, go and empty your bladder and we'll do an internal ultrasound. And we did that, and he said, I still can't get any clear pictures, you know, like, and then he started measuring the head, and he said it's just, the measurements aren't adding up to where you should be. The week before I was measuring 12 weeks, 3 days when I was only 12 weeks. But that week, the week later, I was only measuring like 11 weeks and 6 days. So he said, you know, your dates aren't matching up. The baby's got a really small head. And I said, all of our babies have small heads. I didn't cotton on that anything was wrong. So we were doing the internal, and he said, look, I don't know where we go from here. I still can't get good pictures. I'll have to get someone else in, to sort of have a look at this ultrasound. And he brought another guy in, and he said, I'm seeing very low, or I'm not seeing much cardiac activity. And as soon as he said that, I just knew, and I just said, does the baby not have a heartbeat? And that the other guy said, look, it appears that way. And then the guy that was originally scanning me said, we just need to make sure. And then I just started shaking because I just really didn't know. It felt like they weren't telling me that. I was like, is this like real? And they looked at me and they said, yes, I'm sorry, there's no heartbeat. And I was so upset. But then the other half of me was relieved it didn't happen later on in the pregnancy. Like, you know, 13 weeks is, you know, it's still a decent way to go. And like, I didn't have any bleeding, I didn't have any cramping, so my body did not recognize that the baby had passed. And if I didn't go to that ultrasound, I would have had no way of knowing that this baby wasn't alive. So, but I mean, I'm glad that I found out when I did. I think I also updated that I did the Harmony test, and the first one came back inconclusive. And then I did a redraw, and that came back inconclusive as well. So my doctor and I think it must have been a chromosome issue. Like, we don't know what the gender was, which I'm glad, because I'm a realist. Like, you know, it was our baby. We are deeply heartbroken, but you know, like, I'm not going to look at, you know, every January the baby would have been born, this is its due date, and it would have been going to school here. Like, I don't think that's a healthy way to look at things. I think it was our baby, but it wasn't meant to be. And I believe things happen for a reason. I know lots of people hate to hear that. I've heard many mums who miscarry hate to hear that, but for me it's a comfort. And for me, I'm fine with that because I believe that. So it's something that happened. It wasn't nice. It was terrible. You know, moving forward from there, I was given, well, my doctor said D&C because I was 13 weeks. And the hospital gave me 3 options. I could do it at home and pass the baby. I could wait, and taking tablets, I could wait for it to happen naturally. Or I could have a D&C. And I definitely didn't want to do it at home, because there's always the risk of retained product and tissue, which can cause infection, which just draws out the process even longer. And it's even more heartbreaking. I mean, carrying around something that isn't alive is just, it messes with your mind. Like, you still sort of cling to hope that maybe they were wrong, but you know rationally that it's over. I definitely didn't want to wait for it to happen naturally, because I mean, that could take weeks. You know, and I definitely didn't want to wait for it to happen naturally, and I didn't want to do it at home. The best option for me, I thought, was the D&C. I just wanted to get it over and done with, and able to grieve, but to move forward as well. Yeah, it might sound a bit harsh, but you know, for me, I just look at it as something that's happened, and you know, I would like to move on, grieve and move on, if that makes sense. But so I had the D&C yesterday. I'd never been put under a general anaesthetic, so I was a bit nervous, and because of all the COVID stuff, well, Heath wasn't with me at the ultrasound when I found out either. Heath couldn't come with me to the hospital because of the COVID stuff, so all he could do was drop me at the door, you know, in the car, and I just waved goodbye, and I just had to go through that whole process by myself because of COVID. He wasn't allowed to be there, but it was actually okay. Like, I was really calm, and all the staff were just so lovely to me and so kind, and they were just so caring. And I think if Heath had have been with me, I would have been a lot more worried. Whereas I'm the type of person, if I have to do it on my own, I really I really get in there and do it. Like, but if someone is there to help me, I sort of turn into that scared little girl. So for me, it was okay. The surgery went well. when I woke up, they said it took a little bit longer because I lost 400 mil of blood. So there was a bleed, and they didn't know where it was coming from. They had to stop it, which they did. So, but the doctor said that, I mean, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel, you know, a bad sort of weak reaction when I woke up. I felt fine. So I'm not too sure why that happened. They didn't really say. So yeah, and there are risks with the D&C. You know, it can leave scar tissue, and it can make it hard to get pregnant or hold on to future pregnancies. We're blessed to have 4 beautiful, healthy children. We would love to have a 5th baby, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it does, we'll feel so lucky. But I'm not going to make that the focus of my life, because I just can't do that. It's unhealthy, and I'm a very obsessive person, and I can't let myself get into that state, because some people don't even have any kids, and they can't have kids, and they go through this over and over, and they have nothing to come home to. And I've got my beautiful girls. So I am just grateful for what I've got. If I get one more, then I'll be so happy, but that's not going to be my focus. I had counseling today, thank goodness, and that really, really helped. And all, like, the support from my family and friends has just been so overwhelming, as in a good way. Everyone has just been so amazing and supportive. I mean, women, mums, my mum friends have shared their stories, and that's what I really need to hear. I need to hear other people's experiences. Of course, I'm not going to ask, but people will just send me a message and tell me, and my God, it helps so much. It's such a comfort. My family, my mum, my sister, my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my dad, all my sister-in-laws have been amazing. And I'm so grateful to have so many wonderful people around me. And Heath has just been my rock. He is such a great partner and dad. He's just fully taken on the kids like he always does. And he just takes care of me. He's so worried about me, and I want to make sure he's okay, because it's him going through it too. And he's just amazing. I'm so lucky to have him. So yeah, I think moving forward, I don't regret announcing or doing a live pregnancy test and announcing the pregnancy. I don't regret putting it on Facebook. But I feel that I've sort of breached the baby's privacy in a way, because now the baby's passed. I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but that's my feeling. So I don't think I would ever do a pregnancy test or anything like that on YouTube again, because I feel I just feel if the baby's lost, I don't know. It just feels insensitive. That's my opinion. I'm not saying that anyone else who does it is insensitive. I just feel like I've breached privacy, because now it's a loss. I don't know. It's just my feelings. If we do have another baby, I will share bits and pieces, but definitely not what I shared last time. And I don't regret it. And I always share my pregnancies early on Facebook. But yeah, I just think that it's something that I've done. And you know, I don't regret it, as I said, but it's not something that I would do again. So yeah. I think that's it. That's really all I've got to update. And yeah, like I really didn't want to talk about this because it's really painful and it's really personal. But I really think that if someone else is going through this and I'm, you know, if they can relate to my situation in any way, then that's good, you know. And because I did share that we were pregnant, you know, I want to share the passing to sort of, you know, as a closure for me and to sort of help heal and move on from here. So that's all I've got to say about that. So yeah,